Hi, this is Susan Bennett, the original voice of Siri. Here's what's coming up today on another great episode of On the Nose with Randall Kenneth Jones.
What you say and do makes a huge difference. And we all have gifts. Every single one of us has a superpower, but we allow fear to hold us back and we allow ghosts to hold us back and keep us chained. And you have to figure out by
Mhm.
examining yourself, not pointing and labeling. The first moment you do this, you're giving away your power. You're
You
giving away.
pointed your finger. You pointed your finger. For
Yeah.
the audio people, she pointed her finger. The first moment you point your finger.
If you believe that everyone you meet knows something you don't know, then you're ready for the next bold evolution of the Jones Show podcast. On the Nose with Randall Kenneth Jones introduces you to people who are in the know and ready to share their special brand of know-how with you. From artists, authors, and activists to entertainers, educators, and entrepreneurs, On the Nose will elevate your ability to influence the world we share. Here's the host of On the Nose, Randall Kenneth Jones.
Do you have pants on?
I do not have pants.
No. No. No.
It's Sunday. I don't wear
No. Well,
pants on
no.
Sunday.
You don't have to. But you don't have to. I mean,
Yeah.
we're all like waist up. It's just that I made a conscious decision. B.A. Chris. I decided I did not have pants on. And I said, no, I need to go put pants on. So I made a decision to put pants on, but
That's
you
funny.
could not be bothered.
Yeah, I had to do my hair. I had to put on some makeup. You said you were doing
Mhm,
video and,
mhm, mhm.
so I didn't get to the pants. I was trying to get
Pants, well,
the technology to work.
technology. You live in Florida, and it's kind of a pants free.
Yeah,
Since we left, it's
pants
pants
free when the
free
police aren't around
zone.
and no children.
This is the thing. This show is actually kind of serious. Well, no, the topics we're discussing are serious, and you and I are anything but.
No,
We're not serious together.
not at well,
Well, we can no,
we can
no,
be, but
no. I
why?
will say no. Let me tell you, B.A. Crisp. What I'm really gonna say, you and I can have great fun, and laugh, 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 laugh. But you're one of those people on a very short list who can really engage in a true, meaningful conversation, like Erin Brockovich.
Mhm.
That's the kind of conversation I have with her. It's the same relationship because you just really can get into stuff that means something. And I really, really admire that about you, and I love that about you. And you know what I've decided? Since this is the Halloween show, since it's
I
the ghost show,
know.
I just thought of that yesterday.
Mm.
Oh, I know. It's the ghost show. Now, if you all are experiencing some goblins, well, it's a different kind of ghost.
Mhm.
Oh, so hello.
Hi.
Welcome back. This is
Thank
your third
you.
time?
My
Third time?
third
Third time.
time. Third time's
Yeah,
a
third time.
charm.
Third time's a charm. How do you describe you? I have the same problem. People are like, what do you do? How do you, B.A. Crisp, describe you? I can't do it. I've been asked, what does she do? And I was like,
You just said
what
it.
doesn't she do?
You
Is
just
it
said it.
better?
You just said it. I don't
What?
describe anymore, which is a weird thing to say. So
Oh,
it's
no, that's a
easy.
great thing to say.
It's easy. Let me turn this phone off. It's easy to tell people what you do. It's easy to say, "Oh, I'm this, I do that." It's easy to list or describe a description or characteristics. And what I'm learning is none of this is actually you or me. And we can get into all these phantoms and all that. You're not your religion. You're not your relationship. You're not your job. And I tell people that I've talked to people that have big titles, and I ask them, "Who are you when you take away all the perks in the title?"
Mhm.
And that's a big question that many people cannot answer. And
Mhm.
here we go, getting right into the serious.
Well, no, but yeah, big shock, big shock. Okay, but now I have to be a little goofy.
Mhm.
Gotta put on my glasses because I'm old. I said I'm old, and what am I? I'm not old. I'm
You're
what?
not old, you're growing in power.
I'm growing in power. Okay, I'm
Yes.
growing in power. I have to read this from your website. When she's crafting a work in progress, Crisp typically stares at walls, curses more than Anthony Bourdain ever did, and talks to imaginary friends. Moreover, she enjoys covert misadventures, which she assures are mostly in her mind. She requests that both the CIA and NSA not take her internet research history too seriously. Similarly, Crisp writes like Albert Einstein, moonlighting as a mystic, equal parts quantum mechanics, consciousness, and chaos theory, with just enough caffeine to bend space-time. And if Sigmund Freud, Nikola Tesla, and Forrest Gump ever had a love child, her name would be B.A. Chris. So
Yeah.
you say you don't define you, yet that's like the best bio I've ever read.
Awesome. Awesome.
Oh my
It is
God.
it's so true. So I tell people all the time, I feel it, especially as I've aged, when you're young, you think, "Oh, I have to wear this mask. Oh, I have to have this certain persona. Oh, I have to describe
Yeah.
myself this way, that way, and the other way in order to quote be somebody." What the hell does that even mean? Just be. And the Forrest Gump part comes in, and I've told guys that I've done um, work with up in Herndon, because I have consulted with people in the private sector and the public
Mm-hmm.
sector who are in national security, and I wind up in the most amazing places. And then and people will say, "Well, how did you do this or that?" And I really tell them, "I am a female Forrest Gump." It is like total
And,
accident. It is
and what's
like,
crazy, no, it's
yeah.
crazy. What I've been described by, as I read that, Bob Orr from CBS, you know Bob,
Mhm. Mhm.
but formerly of CBS, said Randall Kenneth Jones lives a life that makes Forrest Gump look like a recluse.
Yeah.
It's my favorite quote.
Yeah.
It's not true. It's nice of Bob to say that. I spend a whole lot of time in a computer, but it's an exciting computer life.
Yeah.
So,
But part of that is letting go. It's just like I came to a point in my life where I just let go. I stopped
yeah.
grasping for things. And there's a lot to be said. And yes, did I read a lot of Buddhist books and Bon books? That's part
Hmm.
of the research I do with writing books, is you do a lot of research. And I went really down, and we tend to write what we're curious about or who we're curious about, correct? I would say
Yeah.
that's
We
true.
well, I mean, Janet Ivanovich said it to me. We write for ourselves,
Yeah, well, you
and I
should write for
realize
yourself.
I do, in that way it's more authentic to me. It's interesting too that you talk about letting it go, and this all relates to the book you just wrote. Make no mistake, we're going to get
Mhm,
there. We'll
mhm.
actually get to the point eventually, people. We'll start the show. Um, but you really, yes, when you get older, you do start to let it go and look at how you're defined. If you can start this younger, it's better.
Yes.
If you can start it younger, which is why I'm going to segue now, because we'll get onto a tangent. It'll be 30 minutes and we will not even mention the book's title. Oh, you're one of my favorite writers. This book, yes. Halloween, happy Halloween. How to Hug a Ghost, Embracing Your Past as a Launch Pad for Life. I'm going to read something else because I actually think you have the best foreword I've ever read in a book.
Oh.
Oh, it's really great. So kudos, and please share I believe gentleman or lady or gentleman, who wrote
Gentleman,
the,
that is, former or retired supervisory special agent Victor Williams. He's amazing.
yeah, what he wrote. BA's wisdom, humor, and insights are an asset of inspiration, reminding me that our past does not define us, but rather it is the very foundation upon which we may build a more fulfilling and purposeful future. That is the launch pad. That is the launch pad for what this book is about. Let's do some definitions.
Mhm.
B.A. Crisp, what is a ghost? Boo! No. What is it's not that.
A ghost can be good or bad.
Right.
That's a key. So, ghosts are phantoms. Ghosts are past traumas. Ghosts are good memories. Ghosts are, but mostly in this book, ghosts are things that haunt you. They are things that
Mm-hmm.
haunt you. And a ghost, when you encounter a ghost, what is our first thing? Flight, fight,
Yeah.
or freeze.
Mm-hmm.
So, what can you do? You can turn around and hug that ghost. You can't change your past. You can think about your future. You can live in the now, and you can't really change your past. Although I'm evolving with that a little bit because quantum physics says in your now you can actually influence your past and your future. But that's maybe another topic.
Oh
Anyway, the
God.
basis of the book is really about hugging your ghosts and
Mm-hmm.
taking what you think our weaknesses, labeling, bad moments, and turning those not so much into lessons, but as launch pads. But as launch pads.
Well, what's the difference between the lesson and the launch pad?
Well, the launch pad will propel you, elevate
Okay.
you,
Okay.
transcendence. So there's a lot in the book about transcendence, and it goes back to in our past, we are programmed, and it happens with life. Otherwise, we would be, you know, feral children would become feral adult, right? So you as a kid, we're programmed a lot. We're programmed that if you don't go to church every Sunday, it's a sin. And these are just minor things. We're programmed, somebody can say something to a child and it becomes ingrained into their cell memory. And then we're carrying around the
Mm-hmm.
epigenetic memory of our ancestors inside our cells too. All of that is information that surrounds the membrane that can keep us in a fight, flight, or fear response.
You literally referred to this as keeping up with the Joneses. In the book, you referred to this issue as how other people define us and how
Yes.
we are allowed and the negative side to the whole concept of keeping up with the Joneses, y'all don't try to keep up with me. No, not good. It's not going to get you nowhere. Well, that's not true.
Yeah.
No,
And
I
it,
mean, obviously
yeah,
that really hit home for me. It took that phrase I've heard forever and put it in a brand new light.
I think one of the most difficult things for any human being to do is to sit in their sorrow, to sit in their regret, to sit in their unhappiness, to sit in their anger. And that is another thing too. So, these are like ghosts. They pass through. They're like gas, they pass. And when it's true though. When you think about an emotion, it's like gas, it passes.
I capture the best quotes from the show. They're like gas. They passed. B.A. Crisp. I'm
But it's but it's true, and we take things so seriously, and that can bog us down, and when you start at a young age and you take things so seriously and you start to retreat from life and you look around and then you have to conform because we are told in the classroom you have to conform. You can't be disruptive. We're told, in the band you have to conform or we're not going to have a good musical score. In your job you have to conform. People say they want innovators, they want creatives, but studies have shown that creatives get hammered down, and I think in the book Dr.
You
George
gave an incredible
Lamb,
study about children and brilliance and genius level. Yeah,
genius.
that was incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Dr.
yeah.
George Land in the 1960s did a study and for NASA. So NASA, it was the same test they gave to astronauts. And they were a bunch of kindergartners through third grade. And I'm not talking like 20 children. I'm talking like 5,000 or
Mm-hmm.
50,000. And what they discovered, and it shocked them, 98% of these kids were testing at the genius level because they were open. They were open. Their minds had not been bogged down by
Right.
convention. Their ghosts were not yet haunting them. And as they progressed through life as teenagers, they retested them, and the figure had dropped from 98% genius to 30%. And by the time they were adults, oh my gosh, Randy, 2%,
Oh,
less than
2%. Yeah.
2%. And that
I had that one highlighted. I mean, the whole concept of creativity, and we haven't been told as a child, you haven't been told, no, you can't do that. You haven't been told, no, that's hard.
Mhm,
You haven't been told, no, that's wrong.
mhm.
You haven't learned what society expects of you. I'm going to read something to you. Again, I love to read your words back to you.
Mhm.
We all have a choice. We may expand with this light or contract into the darkness of cupidity, indifference, and antipathy. Antipathy?
Mhm.
I was like, cupidity, I had to look up. I'd never heard of it. Antipathy. Those who embrace love's higher vibrational power find their lives kindled with illumination, purpose, and connection. Those who turn away from love due to shame, hate, distrust, pride, fear, ego, anger, or abuse self-condemn themselves to a lonely and vacant existence built on a delusional fiction. It is only through opening ourselves to love's transcendent force can we truly live, our spirit set afire with the radiance of the infinite. Now, I'm going to say something. This is going to sound like a criticism, and it's not. It's not at all. I would say you were spiritual. I would believe that this is it. What you call it spirituality? Was that a good word to use?
Mhm. I'd say
Okay.
I'm very spiritual.
I'm
The
not
moment I say
like,
it, I have to think about that.
well,
Like
right. You think so? We're careful to define because we're about not defining. We're about being.
Right,
We're
right.
about being. We're not about define. You use higher vibrational power. You use light. You use transcendent. You use the infinite. You use words that don't connect to me.
Interesting.
I'm not about. I say I put it out. Visualization. I pretend to do it. I don't really do it. It's never really done it for me. But reason I say that, you can love this book and get this book without having that kind of brain.
Mhm.
So I don't want people, if you think, oh yeah, I don't need to look for the light, I don't need vibrations, fine. Then apply from this book what applies to you, because it is full of applications that will apply to you, written in a way
Hmm.
for you to accept as you.
Right. That's right. And, when we put light, love, peace into this context, those phrases, and I say it in the book, they're overused. They're
Mm-hmm.
overused. We
Mm-hmm.
love our football games. We pray to God our football team wins or whatever. But when you look at it's about examining yourself. How much it's easy to sit in anger. It's easy when someone attacks you, whether, and I don't mean physically, that's a little different, but it's easy when we're criticized. We act as our own worst critics
Oh yeah.
very often. But how do you react when someone is coming at you with something? So
Mm-hmm.
if you react with anger, what everyone's a reflection. So what is it about this person where we beef ourselves up and we want to win, and whether it's a verbal exchange or whether, and then you have to ask yourself, do I want to, win a conversation with you, Randy, for power, for control, for because I want to be right, because I don't want to look bad? That's all ego. And there is nothing that will get in your way faster than your own ego. And think about it. Who is
Mm-hmm.
the person at the party that you think about the most or remember it with good feeling? It's just the person that makes you feel good. And I'm not talking about being phony here or obsequious either. Um, it's the person that makes you feel good. It isn't the person that elbows you out of the way so they can stand in front of the camera. It's the person who says, "Here, you go before the camera." And I had an incident with Tim Tebow once, and I'm going to tie this into kindness too. Um, there was a young lady sitting beside me at a event. I'm not going to say where, and I'm not going to say her name. And she had been a victim of human trafficking. I had been a victim. I don't define
Mhm.
myself that way. I do not
Mhm.
define her that way because she's a survivalist, and I use that term in the book
I
too.
love that term too, yeah.
Um, so anyway, Tim Tebow was auctioning off this book that a children's book that he'd written. He was going to sign it, but he was going to do a photo op. And I happened to look over and I saw her kind of crestfallen, and it's almost like I felt it, like I knew. And we pay so much attention to facts, evidence, mathematics as truth. This kind of goes into the quantum physics part of it, but you do have participant, observer, experience, feelings, emotion, and that micro expression on her face. I could tell that she wanted the photo engagement with him, but she probably didn't have the funding. So I bid on the book. Everyone I won the book. Everyone came around, and my husband almost, I'm gonna say it, he almost shit his pants
Mm.
because I bid $1,800 on the book, and he's just like, "Ah!" So so and we didn't have the money, but I did it, and I did that, and then when he came over to sign the book, I said, "Sign it to her and do the photo op with her." And her face lit up like a Christmas tree. Now we go to kindness. Just this morning, I read a study. I research all the time. I was reading a study on the impact of kindness and how it can literally change the light in your cells. So, what a lot of people don't know is we have light in our cells. We have light in our cells. And I know we're here to talk about how to hug a ghost, but I have another book called A Cosmic Conspiracy. And it talks about undercover studies by the CIA, NSA, other groups that looked at the military that looked at blood and DNA. And they separated blood and DNA, put them in another room with these people, and had them look at violent videos. Their blood and their DNA reacted at the exact same time. It was a
Mm.
superposition moment, entanglement, non-locality. We are all interconnected. To go all the way back to what you just said about
Mhm.
kindness or about love and peace and all that stuff that we could say, well, I'm not on that vibration. To me, it's more difficult for most people today to love because we have these walls up, we have these masks on. And when I say how to hug a ghost, we have to begin to examine that light that is inside of all of us. And you have it, Randy. You have it in spades.
I This book, again, I gotta get the whole title, How to Hug a Ghost, Embracing Your Past as a Launchpad for Life. Literally, we could go on forever about this, its value, all the examples. If you are about self-awareness, if you're willing to put in work on yourself, which that's my thing.
Mhm.
That's my thing. That's your thing. That's our thing.
Mhm.
Uh, I help people, not really as me. I help people because I'm smart enough to know people like you. That's my gift, is to talk to people, and I steal from you. I steal from everyone their thoughts and ideas, and I share it. I share it as a public
Mhm.
speaker. I teach other people. I that's what my gift is, but it's also, wow. I mean, I'm first and foremost the student. I'm a student
Mhm.
of this book.
Mhm.
I will be a student of this book for quite some time. There's so many quotes in the book that I wrote down. Normal doesn't exist. Conformity is rampant. Authenticity is exceptional. Simple. So incredibly close. I love that. Another quote. I love this. Put simply, the supernatural is science we don't yet understand.
That's right. That's right. And we've locked ourselves into this empirical model, even in psychology, even in the elevation stuff. And I science is supernatural is what we don't understand. Ghosts are real. Interdimensional beings are real. And I've had plenty of conversation with some high level physicists and even a gentleman, Robert Bigelow, and I sat down for hours and had a discussion about consciousness and the interdimensional. It isn't, and that's the other thing too. It isn't separate from us. Again, it's all interconnected. And if you want a simple exercise to consider the supernatural, look outside, pick a blade of grass, hold a mandarin in your hand. This is what I was taught by a Buddhist monk is hold a mandarin in your hand. Now tell me, which part is the mandarin? Which part is which and I could take that further to the human being. What of you is you? Tell me where the you inside resides.
Is this a test that I'm failing?
No, no, but it's a thinking, and I look,
Well, it melted my brain, so it
yeah,
did really well.
yeah.
But you know what? I want to make sure people. Okay, yes, you're smarter than me, and I don't. You just are. Don't hear this stuff and think this book is over your head. Don't hear physics. Don't hear those words. Don't. It is not. This book gets to the heart of self-awareness. It gets to the heart. So I just am so fearful that you're going to be so damn smart again
But
that you're going to people.
you should hear the words, Randy. You should hear the words, but you don't hear them here. You hear them here. We have memory cells in our
She
hearts
pointed
too.
to her heart. She
Yeah. Oh,
pointed
right.
to her
Right here.
heart.
We have memory cells in our heart. We have, and there's been studies on that, where heart or organ transplant recipients will recognize there was a little boy, 3 years old. Two parents were in church. They lost their son, gave his organs to. They were organ donors with their son's organs. A little boy that happened to come to church that Sunday, 3 or 4 years old, um, was given the son's heart. He ran up
Mm.
the aisle of the church, jumped in the guy's lap and said, "Daddy." Yeah, that's supernatural we don't yet understand. Kids with autism, there's something called
Mm.
the telepathy tapes. Kids with autism, they are said to meet psychically on a hill. And sometimes teachers, counselors have been to this hill because they're a kid. Somehow there's a communication taking place. This is science we don't yet understand. The empirical model, which is kind of how we live life because you have to live it logically and reasonably and no play and be a conformist and be conventional, but it's when you consider all of this is part of us, our experiences, our observations, our participatory. What you say and do makes a huge difference. And we all have gifts. Every single one of us has a superpower, but we allow fear to hold us back and we allow ghosts to hold us back and keep us chained. And you have to figure out by
Mhm.
examining yourself, not pointing and labeling. The first moment you do this, you're giving away your power. You're
You
giving it away.
pointed your finger. You pointed your finger. For
Yeah.
the audio people, she pointed her finger. The first moment you point your finger. I'm going to wind us down because I have to, and I hate it because I have pages of things we could discuss. Y'all, listen to me. Get this book. Follow B.A. Crisp, bacrisp.com. I can say as somebody who really made a decision, when I came to Naples, about the time we met, that I
Mhm.
was going to, because we've known each other a long time now,
We have.
a long time, to work on me. You said
Good.
something. I have to say this because this hit me. There's two things. You talked about your husband, about Bear. We love Bear. We love
Mhm.
her husband. We love Bear. He's a really wonderful man. My husband, we love my husband, Derek. Wonderful, wonderful man. Uh, with you at my side, I'm whole. With you away from me, I am also whole. Wow. I mean, that's
Mhm.
both of them.
That's
And
it.
I never, that's a huge gift that they give us, that we don't have to be with them. And still, because of their presence, we're whole when they're not there. Yeah, it was beautiful.
Interdependence. So the moment you feel that you have to cling to someone or you can't let them out of your sight or you're texting them a million times a day or you have to somehow be connected, that's to me a lack of trust, a lack of trust in yourself.
Mhm.
And there are things that you need to examine because going back to love, you cannot find love outside of yourself until you learn to love yourself.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with loving yourself.
You said this, and my head exploded. What a miracle it is to be born. Think of all the events that had to conspire to bring you here, and the infinitesimally small probability that the exact you in this now, on this timeline, on this planet exists.
Wait, I wrote that? No.
That was the AI part of your book. No, you wrote that. You realize purpose, that you have to have a purpose. I mean, that all of these things had to transpire for you to even exist and be here. And you wrote this in a chapter where you were talking about tragedy.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
included this, so you were literally talking about a tragedy launch pad, and this is where you went. bachris.com. How to Hug a Ghost, Embracing Your Past as a Launchpad for Life. I love you. I respect you. I learn from you. I need you. You make me happy. You teach me.
Aw.
My purpose for this book, we don't talk enough, but when we do, it's just so, we don't live in the same town anymore, which makes it
Yeah.
harder.
Yeah.
Makes it harder, but I end the show with one question. So we only have one more question. So, which I realize you can answer it in probably an hour to an hour and a half. So, be a crisp. What do you know?
Nothing. Nothing. Nothing is where potentiality lies. Every single moment is a moment to bring yourself upward, to launch, and I'm constantly evolving.
For more information, visit onthenose.com. Please be sure to follow On the Nose with Randall Kenneth Jones on YouTube and subscribe on your preferred podcast platform. For On the Nose, I'm Susan Bennett, the original voice of Siri. And yes, I know. Do you? If not, see you next time.